Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and tonight I just got back from watching Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, and yeah, this is probably the most anticipated horror movie that we have left. I think the only other one I can think coming out soon is Thanksgiving, which it looks goofy, but maybe fun, I don't know. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, obviously a major franchise at this point. I remember when it first came out, I think it was 2013, 2014, something around there. You know, I was a little bit older than what its, aimed demographic was. You know, it was just like a simple, point and click jump scare game. I guess that's how you describe it. And, it was pretty simple at the time. It was kind of like a cool concept, that idea of like, evil Chuck E. Cheese. Like, aren't Chuck E. Cheese animatronics like kind of creepy looking? Wouldn't it be kind of scary if they jump scared at the screen and they kind of got you, right? Like, and that's basically what the concept was. And since then, we've had half a dozen games and spin-offs and books and comics and action figures and clothing lines and just endless amounts of merchandise. It has become just this whole property aimed at a certain generation that's, slightly younger than I am. And I could definitely tell that tonight, that even way younger than I am. It's maintained its audience and grown its audience. See, I was under the impression that this franchise had hit its height around the 2016 era. I suppose I was wrong. I guess I'm just now the old person who's out of the loop, because this theater was packed. There were so many people, anywhere ranging from my age to like your early 30s, all the way through your 20s to your teenagers to legitimate just children. Like, families were bringing like their groups of 8-year-olds to 10-year-olds to this thing. So this theater was packed, and there were people in the t-shirts. There were people wearing like their homemade Freddy mascot costumes, animatronic costumes, and it was a whole thing. I was very surprised. I did not think that this movie had that much hype going on, but I suppose I was very wrong. We'll see what the box office looks like, but based on what I saw in my theater, yeah, this movie's gonna make some money. So there's that. And the other thing is that as I'm watching this movie, whenever a character is introduced and they say their name or they reference something, or like some little background robot is mentioned, or it always got like this big reaction from the theater. And I mean, like, people were clapping and screaming and going woo, like mid theater. And I was like, there is a whole fan base out here where this is their Avengers movie. And I have never felt more like that classic like Steve Buscemi, like with the skateboard, like, how do you do, fellow kids? Like, I've never felt more like that than watching this movie in the theaters, because like I didn't understand half the references. There was like little Easter eggs that everyone was cheering and clapping for it. I was like, okay, something happened. Whatever this character's name is, that is significant in some way. And I will say, I think we can criticize the movie safely for not always making it clear what's important or why that thing's important. If you're a fan of the franchise, you already know. And I suppose this movie did its job in that sense of like, it is servicing the fans first. The people who already know everything, they already know the full context of the background information and some character motivations that we don't get made clear until the very end of the movie. These fans already know that stuff, and so in a sense it's like, if that's what it was aiming to do, to like please those fans, based on the reaction that I saw, it very much did that. However, I can see why it has such a low critic score, and like its Rotten Tomato score, I think last I saw was like in the 20s. I think I definitely see why that is, because it was not made for people who are walking in here fresh. I mean, you're not going to get like lost, but there's definitely going to be things you're still asking at the end of the movie, going like, wait, why did the bad guy want to do this? What was exactly the motivation here? Why was it, huh? You know, and like he was, the bad guy was controlling the ghost kids through drawings, like children's drawings were telling them what to do. It was all very like, it's just set at the last minute, and I suppose this is all like in the lore, but you know, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, where it's like, does this make sense? Is this a thing? Like, I suppose it is. The movie kind of acts like I, you know, should have known that, or at the very least, the movie's doesn't bother to like fully explain some things. But if you're watching this movie just on a surface level, I think it is a great family horror movie, you know, and you don't get many of those, you know. There's like a small handful of what I would say are family horror movies where, you know, it does, they like, people do die, there is some blood, there is like some body parts that are shown, right? So like, it's not like a small children's scary story. There is some of that stuff. However, it's definitely something that I would say, like, there's not so much of that to where you can't take your 9-year-old to see this movie. Like, this is aimed for them. They will love it. They'll cheer and they'll clap and they'll do all the things that people were doing in this theater. So yeah, I would say like it definitely did exactly what it was aiming to do. And it kind of hits that more niche category of like, this has a little bit of an edge to it, but not too much. I would say the most gruesome thing that happens in this movie, and again, this is like more implied than directly shown, someone gets bitten in half by an animatronic, and we see like the silhouette of it happen, and we see like the lower half of their body fall to the ground. You know, but like it happens real quick. You don't see a whole lot of blood. It's not like a Saw movie where it's all graphic and you're seeing the whole thing. So, you know, they kind of managed to skirt that line a little bit while like showing us some things, and you know, I feel like on that it did a good job. It's a nice surface level family horror movie with still a little bit of an edge to it, just a tiny bit, right? But yeah, overall, for me, for someone who is not super versed in the franchise, I've never really played the games. I think I might have tried one time, maybe, but I have at the very least, like, I've seen some YouTube videos trying to break down what the story is, and let me tell you, from everything that I know, the story is insanely convoluted, and the fact that they were able to try their best to simplify this down, they did a good job there. But again, I was still asking a whole bunch of questions by the end, like, why did the bad guy do this? Why are they able to do that? How does this work, you know? You know, so stuff like that. And there's also kind of this thing where I guess I can only call it the, well, maybe not the Freddy Krueger effect quite, but in the sense of like, in this franchise, the main characters are the animatronics, you know, like the thing that you buy the toy of and the t-shirt of is the animatronics, but they are also the, you know, they're also the ones that you're playing the game and you're trying to survive as they're coming after you. So in the movie, they have to make them both sympathetic because of their backstory and how they became these haunted animatronics, while also making them bad guys. And so they do this weird thing where the real bad guy is controlling them, even though, you know, again, it's all loosely explained. It's like, but they were all getting along and they were friendly and they were nice ghosts, but now they're evil ghosts, but now they're under control. But it's like, were they under control when all of this was happening? I don't know. Again, very unclear, kind of a clunky plot. Some of the dialogue is very stiff and very like, you know, this was made for like 10-year-olds. But yeah, overall, I had a good time, and especially if you're in a theater and the audience is getting that kind of reaction, I would say you're gonna have a really good time, even if you're not fully versed in this franchise and you're kind of wondering like, so wait, what the hell's going on now? Because just something's gonna happen and it's gonna be some kind of reference and everyone's gonna cheer and you'll be like, wow, I mean, something happened. You know, I'm witnessing, like I said, I'm witnessing another fandom's version of the Avengers movie. That's what it feels like, you know? Like, so now I guess I know what it feels like to be on the outside of a fandom, which is rare for me. You know, I feel like there's not many franchises I go to the theaters and I watch a movie and I'm like, oh, I'm not in this. I don't understand fully what I'm, you know, what the Easter eggs are. I'm kind of the stranger here, but in any case, I had a good time. So let me know what you guys think about Five Nights at Freddy's. Are you a big fan of the franchise? Did you understand every single reference and cameo? And I know I saw MatPat in there. I know Game Theory. I know who that was, so that got a big reaction. And I think there was another YouTuber that I'm not familiar with, but that also got a really big reaction when they came on screen. So yeah, there's like real world cameos, which I can't think of another franchise that really gets to do that. I mean, the closest thing we would have would be like Stan Lee with Marvel, showing up as just a real guy who everyone claps when they see him. But yeah, it's like this franchise has spawned fans and people who did Let's Plays who are so famous on the internet that now they doing cameos and getting the cheers as cameos in the movie. Very interesting. It's not something that happens often, I guess, so you know, kind of a novelty there. But anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think about Five Nights at Freddy's. And like I said, this movie's definitely gonna make its money back. It's probably gonna be pretty profitable. We're definitely, you know, chances are we're gonna see a couple sequels to this, and the lore being as convoluted as I've seen it become, they got plenty of material to play around with, so who even knows. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.